Hey, Sunblade here. I'm gonna give some examples about the new format because I can understand it's quite a lot to take in, quite a few a new format and quite a few rules, um, and it can be a little confusing. So, with a few examples, I hope everyone understands how it works. So we just start that format. Everything above I think is yeah, clear. Well, it's still best of 3 games. But now you use 3 different decks, which is 2 standard decks and 1 legendary deck. And you also play a match in this order. So you use one of your standard decks, then your legendary deck, and then again your other unused standard deck. Yeah, like this says, even if you lose, you switch deck. So always your second duel will always the legendary matchup. Um, for each deck you use a different character and also skill. The legendary deck uses the official Worlds 2018 restrictions, which I'll explain uh, later. On top of that we have limitations. So it's more normally in one deck you can only play 3 cards maximum in one deck, and if it's limited, only one. If it's semi-limited, 2. But now it's kind of like if you have one big deck, so you can play 3 copies across your 3 decks. So if you play, yeah, here's an example. Um, Enemy controller is semi-limited, so you can normally run 2 in one deck. But now you can only play 2 in your across your 3 decks. So if you play one enemy controller in one deck, you can play one enemy controller in one of your other 2 decks, or you can play 2 enemy controllers in one deck, but you can't play any enemy controller in your other decks. But of course, it's allowed to run other semi-limited cards in your other deck. If you run 2 enemy controller in one deck, you can of course play 2 Amazoness Onslaught in your one of your other decks. So and for massive morph, because it's a limited card, you can only play 1 in total in one of your 3 decks. Here you can find the forbidden list, but also in game of course. The legendary requirements. So I will give you an example. I don't play in the tourney, but just show an example. If I should play decks, maybe I should play these. And then we have the rules with it. This. Okay, these are my 2 standard decks. As you can see, this is Bandit Key with Switcheroo. This is Paradox Brothers with 3-star demotion. They don't have cards which overlap, and yeah, you can see I played Treacherous Trapple here, but I can also play it here because you can normally put 3 in deck, but so I could play Treacherous Trapple here, but I can't put 2 in it here. So otherwise I would exceed the total of 3. And for example, let's see. Yeah, the Amazon's Onslaught is semi-limit, so I already played 2 in this deck, so I can't play any Amazon's Onslaught in one of my other decks. So that's it. Or I also can't. Oh wait, yeah. Well, now I see already. See, I made a mistake. So just learn from this, and Petri will check this. So you see me playing here 3 Amazoness Swordswoman, but I also play 3 Amazoness Swordswoman here. Yeah, you can't do that because then I have 6 total. I only can have 3 total across my 3 decks. So this is a mistake. Probably then you have to switch deck or remove all 3 from here, or remove 2 from here and 1 from here. So you got 3 total, and then you're ready to go. So we really have to we check the decks we receive from you, and of course it can happen like it happened here. So yeah, so don't worry if you made a mistake. We have prolonged the time to send in decks, but make your deck on time so you can still change it if you made a mistake. As you can see here, this is the legendary deck. So legendary deck has some extra rules shown here. With legendary deck, you play a character, one of the characters, but you are forced to play. If you want to play a skill, you don't have to play a skill, but if you want to play a skill, you only can choose about um, yeah, what's shown here. So each character has skills allowed. So I have to choose one of these skills. I chose Endless Trap Hell, and then required cards is you have to put in these cards in your deck. So the amount listed here, and here is you have to put one Blast Wild for tribute, and here these two cards. So you have to put it in the deck, and then you also got optional, and then there is a one behind optional. So I have to put in one of these cards in the deck. So I chose for Temple of Kings, and then it's okay to play, and then you can just make your deck like you want. So you have to put in the required cards and the amount of optional cards. So Maximilian Pegasus doesn't have optional cards. Let's see another example. So the required for Mukuba Kaiba, the required card is one Blue Eyes White Dragon, but optional cards you have to put in 3 of a combination or just yeah, of those cards. But I can put in 3 Kaiba men, and then it's okay. Then you have used 3 of the optional cards, but you can also use 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, so you have 3 because you have to play at least 1, and then add like the Burst Stream or the Kaiba men. Of course, you can also exceed the limit, so you can also play the required 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon, then put in 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, then also put in 3 Kaiba men, the Beacon of White, and this Burst Stream of Destruction all times 3. But this is like the minimum requirement. So you can play more of these cards, but you have to put them in the deck. I do one example more. So with Arcana, I have to play Dark Magician, and also must be the red version. Not sure if we for this tourney it doesn't matter if you don't have the red version, it's okay. But if you have, then put it in, of course, and use 3 of or a combination of these cards. So maybe put in 3000 knives and then be done with it, or put in like 2 dark magic attack, 3000 knives, and one of the mirror. Yeah, that's all possible. Okay, I hope everything is clear right now. I think that was it. So you learned from my mistake. I accidentally put in 2 of a 6 Amazon Swordwoman total in my 3 decks, so this isn't allowed. So I have to adjust that deck, play another deck maybe, or yeah, adjust it, or just remove a few. Have a last look at the notes. Yeah, if you have more questions, just send me a PM or ask in main chat and add me or something. Yeah, I also want to say before you send your decks, it would help if you put in your name into the deck list and do it like this. It isn't required per se, but it's easier for Petri to handle stuff. But yeah, okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and I hope everything is clear now. Bye.